Good evening, and thanks for being here. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our in-depth coverage on the stories that powerful people would rather move past quietly.
In the meantime, the heads of ICE, CBP, and USCIS should all testify before the Senate as soon as possible. We must not wait for hearings weeks from now. The American people demand truth and accountability right now. I'm glad that Republicans like Senator Paul have said likewise. But we must also be candid. It is bone-chilling that in the aftermath of the killings in Minneapolis, some of the Trump administration's top officials have chosen to blatantly lie to the American people like full-fledged authoritarians. Stephen Miller raced to Twitter to call Alex Preddy a would-be assassin who tried to murder federal law enforcement. If you'd watched the videos of the killing, you'd know this is an outlandish and shocking and totally dishonest, despicable thing to say. Meanwhile, Gregory Bravino, Donald Trump's top Border Patrol officer, also claimed, without a shred of evidence, that Preddy wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. And then, of course, there's Kristi Noem. Merely hours after Preddy's death, Noem claimed again, without so much as a morsel of evidence, that he had committed an act of domestic terrorism and wanted to perpetrate violence. You know what the reaction of these Trump officials, too many of them, seems to be when something terrible happens? To lie about it. That's their immediate reaction, not to find the truth, not to express any sympathy to those who are dead, but to lie, lie, lie. It's despicable. It's so un-American. It's so different than what we have seen in so many previous administrations. Lies, all of it, just blatant, sickening lies. And that is what these administration officials almost automatically turn to when there's difficulty and there's trouble. Kristi Noem is a liar. She's vicious. She's also incompetent. Donald Trump must fire her at once before another American is killed under her watch. So I'll say it again. It's bone-chilling that Donald Trump's goons will so eagerly and almost lazily lie right to the public's face. Right to the public's face. And where is the accountability from Donald Trump? He said nothing to call out the nastiness and lies from Noem and Miller. It seems he almost prefers to have serial liars in his administration than honest people. The kind of dishonesty we see from Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller is the bread and butter of authoritarian regimes. And it's dangerous, dangerous territory for our country. When a government tells its people, ignore what your eyes see and forget what your ears hear, just listen to us instead, then for all practical purposes, it's not trying to act like a government in a democracy. This is how dictatorships operate, and we're seeing the signs right in front of us here in America. The right answer, of course, is to meet the lies with truth. Here in the Senate, the American people deserve to hear that truth under oath when Kristi Noem and other administration officials testify as soon as possible. And across America, the people must keep defending the truth. They should keep showing up lawfully and documenting abuses by ICE. They must continue to protest peacefully and nonviolently, to exercise their rights to free speech and free assembly, to protect their communities from the abuses of this thuggish government. It may feel to many like the flame of democracy is flickering into extinction before our eyes and that there's no way to fight back. That is wrong. The good people of Minneapolis and so many cities around the country have shown the answer to authoritarianism. Hold firm, tell the truth, look out for one another, organize, protest. And when the time comes, exercise your greatest power of all. Go to the ballot box and vote. Vote. And vote out the liars. I yield the floor.
Tonight, the focus is squarely on a growing controversy surrounding Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and senior Trump administration officials following the killing of Alex Frey in Minneapolis. What began as a tragic death has now become something far more troubling, a case study in how power responds when accountability knocks on the door. Calls are intensifying for the heads of ICE, Customs and Border Protection, and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to testify before the Senate immediately. Not weeks from now, not after the news cycle cools off, but now. Lawmakers arguing for urgency say the American public cannot wait while narratives are shaped behind closed doors. Transparency delayed, they warn, is transparency denied. And that concern did not emerge in a vacuum. Within hours of Alex Frey's death, senior Trump officials went public with explosive claims. Stephen Miller, one of Trump's closest advisors, rushed to social media, labeling Frey a would-be assassin who allegedly tried to kill federal agents. The problem is that publicly available video footage tells a very different story. To critics, the disconnect between what people can see with their own eyes and what they were being told was immediate and jarring. If you're finding this reporting valuable, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep doing this work and keeps you informed. Then came statements from Gregory Bovino, the Trump administration's top Border Patrol official, who claimed without presenting evidence that Frey intended to cause maximum harm and massacre law enforcement. Again, no proof, no corroboration, just sweeping accusations released at a moment when facts were still emerging. And then there was Kristi Noem herself. Mere hours after Frey's death, she described the incident as a domestic terrorism, again, without publicly offering evidence. For many observers, this was not just premature, it was deeply irresponsible. When government officials define a narrative before investigations are complete, they are not just commenting, they are shaping public perception in ways that can never fully be undone. This is where the story widens beyond one incident. Critics argue that this pattern reveals something systemic. When tragedy strikes, the first instinct of too many officials is not restraint, not empathy, not fact-finding, but accusation, not truth, but narrative control, not accountability, but deflection. If that resonates with you, make sure you subscribe so you stay connected as this story develops. There is also the silence at the top. Donald Trump has not publicly corrected or challenged the statements made by Noem or Miller. To opponents, that silence speaks volumes. They argue it suggests comfort with misinformation, or worse, reliance on it. In democratic systems, leaders are expected to demand accuracy from their subordinates. When they do not, it raises serious questions about what standards, if any, are being enforced. The language used by critics has been unusually stark, describing this behavior as authoritarian in nature. That comparison is not made lightly. Authoritarian governments are defined not as by force, but by narrative control. They ask citizens to doubt their own senses and trust only official statements. When people are told to ignore what they see and hear and accept only what they are instructed to believe, democracy begins to erode from the inside. This is why lawmakers are pushing so hard for immediate testimony. Hearings are not just procedural exercises. They are one of the few tools the public has to confront power with questions, under oath, in daylight. Delaying them allows mistruths to harden into accepted stories. If you want continued coverage that explains not just what happened, but why it matters, subscribe now and stay with us. At its core, this is not only about Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, or Donald Trump. It is about the expectations we place on those who govern. In moments of crisis, honesty is not optional. It is the foundation of public trust. When that trust is broken, restoring it becomes exponentially harder. We will continue to follow this story closely, including whether those officials are compelled to testify and what evidence, if any, is finally presented to support the claims made so quickly and so confidently. Until then, the demand from many Americans remains simple. Tell the truth, show the evidence, and be accountable. Subscribe to the channel for ongoing updates and clear, fact-based analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll keep you informed.